Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here. We're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of July 8th, 2021. Getting straight into it, the current character challenge is Static. That is a 1 week repeat, and the required characters for that are Flash, Green Arrow, and Green Lantern, who you can get all at bronze level. So this is great for newer players.
Right.
This is about as easy as it gets while there still are challenge requirements.
Right.
His passive is Aftershock, which is he is immune to power drain, and successfully blocking special attacks generates power for Static. He's got 1050 for both attack and health. He was last available in September of 2020.
So, lower stats. They didn't used to be, but definitely in the current Injustice world, they're lower stats. There's some interesting glitches on him. I mean, they're fun, but not enough to make it that we play him a lot. And we'll link the videos where you could double his damage, and using that in conjunction with swiping 200% in an easy way. There's you know what? The problem is that his basic damage is not what really makes him fun.
Yeah.
And what's cool is that he was one of the early guys that had sort of a multifaceted passive. So not just one thing. And that's what made some of the challenge characters so good. Mm-hmm. And what's actually interesting in Static, which it's hard to take advantage of, because when you're facing Static, what he can do is he can stun you and then smack you and chain. He can chain attacks on you so that he ends up building up another bar of power and then stunning you again. Yeah. So you can't do anything. You can't block. You can't whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I guess the other thing, I mean, being immune to power drain is pretty good. What that means, though, is that you can't get the benefit of the Lexor gear set reversing power drain. Mm-hmm. Generating power by blocking special is good, unless let's say you're facing a Blackest Night team and it's unblockable.
Yeah. So
you don't get the benefit of, you take the full damage and you basically lose the benefit of part of your passive.
Yeah.
It does. I don't think it even says that on the special one description, but he stuns every time. Mm-hmm. And I think the good thing too is that he doesn't have to take reduced damage. Normally when there's an effect on a special, that means that the special's damage is less than it should be given whatever the attack is.
Yeah.
Stun, that means he's great with the cloak. It means he's great with Necron Scythe, whether it's him doing it himself or more efficiently he stuns and then hands it off to teammate. Because I think a lot of the other characters that stun at the end of a special, it's usually a chance at stun. Like the Batman special one is typically a chance at stun, I think, right?
It's not as reliable, usually.
Yeah. And what's interesting, we usually don't talk about this as much, but his signature gear, his 3.5-star gear, it's particularly good on him. Mm-hmm. Like some gears are, like Batmobile, for example. Mm-hmm. And they're awful on a not Batman, and they're okay on a Batman, but Static is great. So blocking stops 22% more damage, so that's not unusual. The area effect, opponent's team takes 15% damage from Special 2, which is as good as the Mace from the 4th World Gear set. Yeah. The Evolved part is the interesting one, right? It's that 20% chance to reflect all specials while blocking. So there's a lot of other gears that reflect damage. This gear, instead of reflecting a percentage of the damage where you have to take it, there's a 20% chance to reflect all the damage.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
It would be like the equivalent of like a 40% chance to reflect half damage. Like in terms of like average.
Right. But what it does is it's really unbalancing. Like it's probably more useful, say, in defense, where the AI doesn't play your team really well. Yeah. So if you had a gear that did sort of middle of the road, did it consistently every time, it wouldn't be enough, and you'd just lose most of the time. This can shift the battle, and that 1 in 5 chance, it totally flips the battle. So let's say, you know what the best is? When Ares faces Charge Disc.
Yeah, and then just God smacks himself straight out instantly.
Yeah, that's pretty good, because all the damage is gone, and you don't actually have to take any. Yeah. And I guess the other good thing is that I think his Special 2 at the end of it, the damage over time effect, triggers multiple times. Mm-hmm. So if you're gonna do that, you could make him a special specialist and really burn through somebody's health.
Yeah.
And we've got a static playlist. I think we linked it last week. We'll link it again. And the most interesting thing is, 16th in a row that matches a pattern that really started May the 2020. Mm-hmm. And next would be Flashpoint Batman if it followed the pattern.
Yeah, and we expect to see that because we'll talk about that in the pack later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? And the other thing I think I forgot to mention, because anytime you do a special that's multiple hits, it generates power for the enemy. Mm-hmm. What's actually cool and static is that because he generates so much, his special one has so many hits, but it stuns. You know who he's really good with? Rebirth Raven. And if you gave her cloak, you give them power, stun them, tag her in, she's already stunned them automatically, and she's taken their power. Mm-hmm. Boom.
That's true, because in most cases you can't really take advantage of Rebirth Raven guaranteed, but because they're stunned, there's no way for them to use it. Yeah. So this week's multiplayer reward is the War Gauntlet, which becomes a Claw of Horus, and its abilities are: on tag-in, the opponent receives damage equal to, when it's fully upgraded, 10% of his health. I'm going to just read out the fully upgraded for all of these. When an opponent tags in, all damage to that opponent increases by 10%, stacks 3 times, and resets on a player tag out. And then the evolved ability, which is on special 1, 75% chance to disable 1 random gear of the opponent until the opponent tags out.
Right. And looks like it's been more than a year now, 27 weeks.
Yeah. So this is an interesting one because the effects sort of stack up in a way that means that when one is more useful, the other is less useful. So like towards the beginning of the fight, right, you want to tag in more and deal 10% health, right? And that, I guess that's kind of useful always. But when an opponent tags in, damage increases 10% and stacks 3 times. Is useful, obviously, when there's a lot of tag-ins.
On their side, yeah.
And then you want to stay in. And the last ability, which is disabling the gear, becomes the most useful when there's only one opponent left.
Right.
So they sort of have this weird convergence point. And we personally like it best for
that one ability. Yeah. That one ability really makes this gear. There's a lot of gears where there's one ability. If it was just that, would still be worth a slot. Cloak is one of them, and Claw of Horse is one of them. That's the one that we really take advantage of. Oh, we should mention too, everybody wants to know. If the pattern holds, next week is the single most important gear.
Oh, yeah.
Tentu Totem.
Tentu Totem, yeah.
Right.
We're a little over half a year's worth of following the pattern at this point. Mm-hmm.
So it's really great, this gear, on anything. It's different than other gear shatters because the other gear shatters have different durations, right? Mm-hmm. Earth to Solomon Grundy's for the fight. Dawn of Justice Superman is for about a minute.
Yeah.
So that's what you were saying. It's best on the last character because they can't take out, they can't rinse it. And what it really does is when you're in the middle of a drawn out battle at the end.
Yeah.
Because they, like Batman Ninja Batman with gears to take no damage.
Yeah. For the other ones, you have to move fast. Yeah. And, obviously disabling all of somebody's gear makes it a lot easier to knock them out faster.
Right.
But the more sort of gear you shatter for them, the more of a waste it is if you let them tag out and get it back.
And the beauty of the Enchantress gears is that you can take advantage of flying skulls coming in. If you can do a special when skulls are coming in, whether somebody else started the skulls or you did yourself, then you can shatter multiple gears at once. Mm-hmm. In Master's Death Cart, we can also shatter multiple gears at once, but on the tag-in, as long as you've got a bar of power on your second tag-in, which is kind of cool too.
Yeah. So there we go. That's sort of the secret synergy, right? That's not instantly obvious. In the store now, we have a Flashpoint Batman pack, which is, why we were talking about earlier. We expect it to be Flashpoint Batman next week. That's $24.99 Canadian. It includes 100,000 power credits, doesn't unlock in the store. This is sort of the fact that we've confirmed it with our own pattern and with this is what makes us confident that this will be what's there next week, even more so than usual.
Yeah.
Normally we're 95. I want to say we're closer to 99 here.
Yeah.
And if the pattern holds, 2 weeks from now we expect John Stewart Green Lantern, right. And that's really sort of the value of this is that that we can predict a couple weeks in advance instead of just the next one.
Yeah.
We also have the Batman vs Superman character bundle for $24.99 Canadian. It was $25.99 the last time we saw it in September of 2020, and that comes with Dawn of Justice Batman, who's cool because there's never been a challenge. It's only cash packs and a rare drop in his specific gold pack, and maybe nth metal packs.
Right.
And then we also get Dawn of Justice Superman, and the signature Dawn of Justice gears for each of them. So that's the cowl and the glasses.
Right, not the typical one you get in the gear pack, because they each have their own. I mean, Batman's got three signature gears. Greg, Batmobile is legendary. This plus his regular bat suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like everything else, Batman gets overrepresented.
Yep. And the Shazam Celebration pack and Sorcery packs are sort of lingering around for a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. They're not dropping out that fast.
Yeah. In our Survivor, we have the 4th World Gear set until the 14th of July, 2021. Phantom Zone is back for 2 more weeks. Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's breakthrough was Joker, Nightwing, and Darkseid. We expect this weekend's to be Zod, Aquaman, and Shazam. Link in the description to a Reddit thread from Devlin16 if you want to look at the breakthrough cycle for yourself.
Right. And that's it for news. Current glitches. Spoiler alert, everything's the same, nothing's changed, but you can reach a tutorial, a playlist full of tutorials on how to do the glitches that work. The eye in the top right corner, Android 9.0, that's our spiel. Everybody else, fend for yourselves. Not really, but we can test 9.0 and we can actually personally attest to the usefulness of the glitches. Yeah. So
starting off with stuff that's not there that you might want, there's no glitch for credits. On Season 6, Episode 9 of our P&Q and CNA&T, we talk about why the one that is out there isn't one that we're willing to sort of put our name behind. Other stuff that you might want to do that you can't right now. Getting repeated past multiplayer season rewards, getting early multiplayer season rewards in a good way, getting through the Phantom Zone supernaturally quickly without just, getting through a normal lickety-split, and getting free energy without having to watch the video for energy recharge is also not working.
Glitch for playing Phantom Zone repeatedly is still working. The challenge reset glitch is also still working, confirmed on the current static challenge and the current Phantom Zone, because they are the same glitch. Just remember that, because when you reset the progress in one, you're resetting the progress in both. Mm-hmm. Some notes that one is from Tanime Kakde, who's a viewer. We cut and paste his comment about how to save yourself from having to download a gig of data every time for Android 10 and higher, and from Jonathan Yang for how to do the challenge reset on an iOS device.
Yep. Breakthrough glitch is still working. The airplane mode / refund glitch for re-rolling your rewards that you have to spend money for is still working. I should say not real money, because you can't do it anything that requires online.
Right.
Those are sort of locked in.
Yeah.
And time shifting still works for unlimited survivor play and energy recharges. As always, you got to return your clock back to normal after you've gotten all the stuff that you want and before you're back to playing fully normally. Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So here's our other little spiel. We went through not working glitches, working glitches, and this is the one that's in between, which is the promotion glitch. It's still on the list of our current glitches, mainly because even though you can't do it now because the conditions aren't right, the conditions just haven't been around for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's probably no good anymore if the conditions ever come around, but we haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bigfoot.
Yeah. And to finish up, we have a Patreon, and some lovely folks have made the choice to support us. If you want to, you can. You absolutely don't have to, but we super appreciate it. And as a little token of our appreciation for the support, we read out everybody's names of people who support us at the end of all of our regularly scheduled videos. And so we'd like to give a huge thank you to all the lovely folks who support us on Patreon. That is Victor Gomez, Consul Peasant, and Edwoon at the top tier last word, Sinemac and Mohammed Albshaiti at the Your Message Here tier, Shawn Farrell, Daniel Simonson, Aaron Maule, Michael DeVries, Brandon C., Irvin Ruiz, and Eddydoo, who are supporting us on the credited level, and Chris Wolff, Scarlet, Dani, Awesomegamer241, Pavu RS, Gavin, Mallott, and Isfar E. at the gratitude level. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I'll see you next time.
Komoda.